years, well, at university. And I learned that it's relatively easy to trick the audience a little bit with posts like this one, because you just say nice things about what you have to say. People don't have the option to say, it sucks, we don't like it. So actually, I'm honest and frank with you, and I want to give you the option of telling me what is the worst feature of Amazon EC2. So you can see that ease of use, price are already there, which could be AMIs, like the complexity of managing AMIs, or maybe something else, in which case I would be happy to hear from you a keyword, like, I don't know, I want it translated in Russian, or something like that. Like a small sentence that explains me what is, in your opinion, the worst feature of Amazon EC2. Of course, again, try to pick only one of these. Look at them first. Is it ease of use? You think it's not easy? Maybe you think it's too expensive. Maybe you think that managing AMIs is very difficult. Or maybe you think something else. So think, and now let's see. So who says number one, ease of use is a problem? No one. Okay, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. Now, who says that price is a problem? Oh, only one? Come on, don't be shy. You can raise your... If you think, if you believe it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought 38, So it went better than expected. AMIs, being able to manage AMIs. Is it difficult? One? Only one. And so it means that there is a lot of something else. Tell me.
The problem is that Amazon EC2 is VM based. So actually the actual machine, physical machine will be shared among many users.
Yes.
And we can have the possibility of noisy neighbors. So
Of what?
Noisy neighbors. So my neighbor is doing some, getting lot of
Yeah.
hits and all,
Yeah.
so it can affect me as well.
Okay, so let's say performances.
Yeah.
Performance is due to shared environment, but basically performances could degrade, right? That's the problem for you.
Isolation is not that much.
Well, we have isolation on Amazon EC2. So from a security standpoint, it's isolated. So you think that it's a problem because of reduced performances, or because of what?
Actually, if there is a large company and it is launching too many instances, like 1,000, 2,000, they won't see much because it averages out.
Okay.
When we are doing a POC.
Proof of concept, yes.
Okay, so in that case, we will be trying out only few instances, maybe just 1 or 2 instances.
Okay.
So in that case, noisy neighbors can be turn out to be issue. We will have to search for some better, do a word drive kind of thing.
Oh, but wait, I want to make it clear. So you're saying that that's a problem because you think they affect the security of what you're trying to do, or just the performances? Performance-wise, that's a problem for performances for you.
Yeah, especially the small instances.
Okay, performance. Okay, any other one here? You can use this, then I will answer to you.
Database.
Database.
Yeah, with EBS, you're making only an incremental step from what was relational database. With S3 and SimpleDB, it doesn't cut it for the amount of scalability needs that other NoSQL databases.
Okay, so basically, for NoSQL databases, you think it doesn't work very well because it doesn't allow you to scale large enough? But this is Amazon EC2 in specific, or you're talking about AWS in general? You're talking about SimpleDB, or you're thinking about running a NoSQL? General comment. Okay. No, we're focusing on EC2 in this case.
And
Yes.
one of the fundamental factor in terms of transparency.
Okay.
Right. Though we know where our instances are running, right? We don't know the exact location. That's number one. And the other area is network throttling.
Okay.
We cannot really, set a specific, I would say, the limit for our network.
So like to limit spending, for example?
No, I'm saying not the spending, I'm saying the network bandwidth.
You want to limit it?
Yeah, not limited.
Between EC2 instances or to the outside?
A continuous or a consistent bandwidth being provided for the EC2 instances.
Okay, so you want consistent performances, basically.
on the network.
On the networking. Okay, so let's say networking consistent performances. Okay. Oh, there is a phone is ringing. Okay. Let me skip this. Let me skip this. Skip this. Skip this. Skip this. Okay. Oh, yes. I need to mention this. So, before we start,
I have one more
one more.
observation about EC2.
Yeah.
The disparity between the Elastic Block Store booted EC2 instances and the AMI booted, the regular S3 booted instances. The S3 booted instances is where you have the scalability. And the EBS booted instances is where you have that speed and kind of reliability. And the API does not really have a mechanism of, see, if you boot a S3 backed instance, then you have to wait. And while you are waiting, you really don't know whether it has failed or it has, you are waiting for it to.
Okay, got it.
So the real scaling action happens there. And there the API support is slightly lacking in terms of feedback on reliable feedback.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. So I wanted to mention that we announced 1.5 days ago that we are going to have a startup challenge worldwide, and Indian startups can participate. So good for you. To be qualified as a startup, everything is specified here. I think your revenues should be less than 10 million. There are a few requirements. You just read it. But I guess that when you know what a startup is, and these limits are pretty straightforward. The interesting thing about the startup challenge is that you can just apply. You explain basically explain us what you do and how you use AWS. Of course, you have to use AWS to qualify for this challenge. And then if you are selected, some companies, some startups will win a trip to California to be at the final stage. And the winner will win $50,000 in cash and $50,000 in credits. And of course, there will be some kind of other prizes along the way. So I think it's interesting for Indian startups to participate, because I think there is a lot going on in India and a lot of good ideas. And personally, I also want to add something, that when you participate in things like this, it's a process of growing up in some way. Because startups, they usually, when they fail, for very basic reasons. Usually they don't have a reality check. Usually they miss some kind of practical examples to follow or things like that, or maybe a good leadership. But in most cases, being in touch with other startups in a challenge or in other examples like this is very good, because they learn a lot, they share a lot, and they can understand better what is failing in their business model or their technology or other things. So it's, I think, beyond the prize itself, it's a good experience to have. So these are two contacts that you need to remember if you want to get in touch with us. One is Mr. Arjun Ramnath, is the technical sales representative for India. And the other one is Mr. Rick Harshman. He's the regional sales manager for India. So these two people are the people you want to talk to if you if you have like business questions or technical questions as well. You also have my contact details if you want them. If you use Twitter, I'm Simon on Twitter, so easy to get in touch with me. And now let's just do this.
On
Wait. So let's do this. Before I got your question, I need to cover this. Let me use, can I use this one? No, it's probably not big enough. Oh, well, let me just do this. I want to move this away, like this. And now I want to use this whiteboard, and I want to have an open discussion with you. So this is the idea. I usually present at conferences and things like that, and it's, I present and then we have like 5 minutes of Q&A, which is usually not a lot for Indian people because you like to ask questions. I know this. So I was at IIT Madras this morning. Once I finished, I had 80 minutes of questions and then I went away. So it was pretty intense. So I think we should do something like this. We should start with a question maybe from you and use that as a fil rouge, as a thread that we can use to create a conversation and try to talk about what you care. For example, some of you might have a question on why should I use cloud computing? And we discuss it together. I give you my answer, and maybe someone else will contribute his answer as well. Is it clear for you? Okay, we'll try. So why don't you start? If it's a too technical question, I will just take it away because we have a mixed audience, so it should be good for everyone.
No, this is just a simple clarification about the Startups Challenge.
Okay.
There are some regional prizes or something. So if you can tell a little bit more about it. Is it regional means India specific or is it Asia Pacific?
No, I think it's Asia Pacific.
Okay.
I think.
So what are the benefits?
So I don't remember all the numbers and things. My suggestion would be look on the website. Okay. Everything is well explained. Okay. I don't remember all the numbers and things. It's pretty difficult to remember. Okay, who wants to start? We have a microphone here. We can, if you want to start with a question or a comment, take it, and then we'll start from there.
I'll start with something very basic.
Okay, very good.
What's the difference between hosting and an IaaS?
Okay, very good. So what's the difference between hosting and IaaS, also called infrastructure as a service? So I'll give you an example. Let's imagine we have a PHP script, and you just want to run it. You look for a hosting solution. You find many of them. You pick one. You pay. And then you upload your code there. They run the code for you. Let's say it's a website or something like that. And then you go online and you check if everything works. Yes, it works. It's fine. And that's a basic hosting. Some kind of hosting, they also offer you a database functionality. They offer you a few other things. But the idea of hosting is giving you a platform to run your scripts, to run your code. That's the basic idea of hosting. And in most cases, hosting is not meant to scale. It's meant to be a very static resource. So some hosting companies came out with creative solutions to give something to customers that require scalability, for example. So, for example, there are different hosting plans provided by different companies that, you can say, I need the small hosting plan which has limited CPU capacity and limited RAM, or maybe I need the medium one or I need the large one, etc. So basically by picking the hosting plan that best fits your need, you can kind of adapt to your specific need. But that's old school, because today with something like AWS, you can actually scale in minutes. And you can scale exactly the amount of machines or storage or other things that you want. So you have full control about scalability. And most importantly, and this is a big difference between hosting and IaaS, is that infrastructure as a service, if we talk about servers in specific, which is the core component of infrastructure, so CPU and RAM and possibly hard disk drive, in the case of infrastructure as a service, and in the case of Amazon EC2, you have full control on that machine. You are root or administrator on Windows machines, which is an advantage and a risk. It's an advantage because you have full control. You can install the software you want. You can change configuration files. You can do whatever you want. The disadvantage is that you have to manage that machine. You have to take care of the security of that machine. For example, in terms of security, we call this model shared security model, shared responsibility, because we give you a very, very good default security setup for your machines. For example, when you launch a machine, all ports are closed by default. You can't do port scanning. You can't do IP spoofing because we control the hypervisor